Hello and welcome to the reading Reisende, where today we will be reading Egil Saga of the Sagas of the Icelanders. Welcome to part 1. There was a man named Ulf, the son of Bjalfi and of Halvera, the daughter of Ulf the Fearless. She was a sister of Halbjorn Halftroll from Hrafnista, the father of Kettling. Ulf was so big and strong that no man was a match for him, and he was still only a youth when he became a Viking and went raiding. His companion was Kari from Burl, a man of high birth who had the strength and courage to perform great deeds. Kari was a berserk. He and Ulf shared all they owned and were close friends. When they gave up plundering, Kari returned to his farm on Burl, a very wealthy man. Kari had 3 children, 2 sons called Ivan Lam and Olver Hump, and a daughter named Selbjörg. She was a beautiful woman of firm character. Ulf married her, then he too returned to his farm. He was rich in both lands and possessions. He became a landholder like his ancestors, and was a powerful figure. Ulf is said to have been a very clever farmer. He made a habit of getting up early to inspect what his farmhands or craftsmen were doing, and to keep an eye on his cattle and cornfields. Sometimes he would talk to people who were in need of his advice, for he was shrewd and always ready to make useful suggestions. But every day towards evening he would grow so bad-tempered that few people dared even address him. He always went to sleep early in the evening and woke up early in the morning. People claimed he was a shapeshifter, and they called him Gveldof, Night Wolf. Gveldof and his wife had 2 sons. The elder one was named Thorolf, and the younger one Grim, and they both grew up to be big, strong men like their father. Thorolf was an attractive and highly accomplished man. He took after his mother's side of the family, a cheerful, generous man, energetic and very eager to prove his worth. He was popular with everyone. Grim was swarthy and ugly, resembling his father in both appearance and character. He turned out to be an active man. He was gifted at working in wood and iron, and grew to be a great craftsman. In winter, he would often set off on a fishing boat to lay nets for herring, taking many farmhands with him. When Thorolf was 20, he made ready to go raiding, and Gveldof gave him a longship. Kari's sons, Eyvind and Olver, joined him, the large band of men and another longship. In the summer they went raiding and took plenty of booty which they shared out among themselves. They went raiding for several summers, spending the winters at home with their fathers. Thorolf brought many precious things back to give to his parents, for in those days it was easy to win both wealth and renown. Gveldof was very old by then, and his sons had reached full manhood. Audbjorn was king of Fjordane at this time. One of his earls was Rold, who had a son named Thorir. Atli the Slender, another earl, lived at Gaular and had 3 sons, Halstein, Holmstein, and Herstein, and a daughter called Solveig the Fair. One autumn, when there was a great gathering at Gaular for the autumn feast, Olver Hump saw Solveig and began courting her. Later he would ask for her hand, but the earl, not considering him worthy enough, would not marry her to him. Afterwards, Olver composed many love poems and grew so obsessed with her that he gave up raiding, leaving Thorolf and Eyvind to go by themselves. King Harald inherited the titles of his father Halfdan the Black, and swore an oath not to cut or comb his hair until he had become sole king of Norway. He was called Harald Tanglehair. He did battle with the neighboring kings and defeated them, as is told in long accounts. Afterwards he took over Uppland and proceeded northwards to Trondheim, where he fought many battles before gaining full control of all Trondheim district. After that he intended to go north to Naumdal and take on the brothers Herlaug and Hrolaug, who were kings there. But when they heard that he was on his way, Herlaug and 11 of his men went into the mound they had spent the past 3 years building, and had it closed upon them. Hrolaug tumbled from power and took the title of Earl instead, then submitted to Harold and handed over his kingdom. King Harold thereby took over Namdal province and Halagaland and appointed men to govern there in his name. Leaving Trondheim with his fleet of ships, he went south to Moor, where he won a battle against King Hundhjof, who was killed there. Then Harold took over North Moor and Romsdal. Meanwhile, Hundhjof's son Solvi Chopper, who had escaped, went to King Arnvid in South Moor and asked for his help. Although this misfortune has befallen us now, he said, it will not be very long before the same happens to you, because I think Harold will be here soon, once he has brought slavery and suffering to everyone he chooses in North Mole and Romsdal. You will face the same choice we had, either to defend your property and freedom by staking all the men you can hope to muster, and I will provide my forces too against such aggression and injustice, or to follow the course taken by the people of Namdal, who voluntarily entered servitude and became Harold's slaves. My father felt it an honor to die nobly as king of his own realm, rather than become subservient to another king in his old age. I think you will feel the same, and so will any other stalwarts who want to prove their worth. Persuaded by such words, the king resolved to muster forces and defend his land. He and Solvi swore an alliance and sent word to King Audbjörn, who ruled Fjords province, to join forces with them. When the messengers delivered this message to King Audbjörn, he discussed it with his friends, all of whom advised him to gather forces and join the people of Moor as he had been asked. King Audbjörn sent around an arrow of war as a signal to call men to arms throughout his kingdom, and dispatched messengers to powerful men asking them to meet him. But when the messengers told Gvellof that the king wanted him to bring all the men on his farm to join him, he replied, "The king would consider it my duty to go with him, if he had to defend his land in battles had to be fought in Fjords province. But I don't think it's any duty of mine to go up north to Moor and fight there to defend other people's land. Tell your king, straight out when you meet him, that while he rushes off to battle, Gvellof will be staying at home, and will not muster any forces or set off to fight King Harold Tanglehair. I have a feeling Harold has plenty of good fortune in store for him, but our king doesn't have enough to fill the palm of his hand." The messengers went back to the king and told him how their errand had turned out, and Gvellof stayed at home on his farm. Tack skall du, herr.